This is Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I trust that you will consider this your vitamin and your supplement for your mind and heart. And wherever you receive podcasts from, would you please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom? Leave a rating and a brief written review. It will enable other excellent people just like you to be able to locate this podcast. Well, these last few episodes, I've been talking about productivity, and I want to carry another chapter of that forward today. And that is, are you busy or are you productive? Are you productive? Are you getting things done? Are you moving toward your goals, your dreams, toward getting the things that really matter accomplished? Or are you just spinning your wheels like the hamster on the wheel, and you're making a lot of movement but not any progress? What separates busy people from productive people? Because I hope by now I have convinced you over several episodes that there is a stark difference between people who are just busy and people who are productive. You see, busy people are really always trying to fit more things into their day. They feel if I just put a lot of stuff on the table and if I throw a lot of mud against the wall, something will stick. And if I just keep saying yes to everybody and keep adding all of these things, it'll make me a happier, more prosperous, more productive person. I discovered the opposite is actually true. The truly productive people have to cut things off of their task lists and to-do lists. There are a lot of good things that you can't do because you have set your heart on doing particular things. If you're going to be an attorney, you probably can't be a CPA, a medical doctor, and a politician, and the president of the bank. You have to narrow it down and decide. And one of the things that frightens busy people is that for every decision you make, you are automatically making 1,000 decisions of what not to do. By listening to this podcast right now, even though you may be at the gym, riding in your car, on a walk, you are making a decision to do this, which means for these moments, you've made a decision not to do something else or not to listen to something else. If you decide to go to school somewhere, you're also deciding not to go to all the other schools. If you're seeking out a particular vocation or you're seeking to start a business in one particular area, you are also in that decision eliminating a lot of things. Busy people jump at every opportunity, every assignment. Now, I'm all for opportunity, but you have to weigh them. You have to ask yourself, is this something I'm equipped to do? If I go ahead and do this, what will I have to let go of? I meet with groups all the time that continually want to add programming and ideas and things and commitments, but never want to remove anything from their calendar. And you can't just forever keep adding things onto your schedule, or you have a prescription for a breakdown, perhaps a mental or spiritual breakdown, but the system, your system, will break down. You see, the busy and the productive person understand the difference between something being urgent and something being important. It's not uncommon for me to encounter people who are breathless with their trying to explain a particular urgency that they are experiencing. A lot of time, it is not an unforeseen crisis that do come to all of our lives periodically. Most people's urgencies is a reflection on their lack of taking their responsibilities seriously and doing the proper and adequate planning that they should have been doing and working on the task moment by moment. Busy people think that they can multitask. They're typing notes, they're reading a book, they're watching television, they're listening to a conversation. And in essence, they're not doing any of those things very effectively. So busy people really try to impress you by their tremendous ability to what they call multitask, whereas a productive person focuses usually on one thing at a time. And really the operative word is a productive person has learned the secret of focus. That if you give concentrated focus for a little while to something, you can really get things accomplished. You know, busy people are just going hither, thither, and yon. They are always involved, have their fingers in a lot of things. They're always out here running around. Whereas a productive person knows that there comes time in your life when you just have to shut the door, set your timer, put your head down, and get the work done. I wish I could make it more romantic and more appealing and make it sound that way. But the fact of the matter is work any way you define it, any way you slice it, any way you described it. Busy people seem to try to really charge ahead, get things done. But a productive person, though they do focus, and though they do all these things that I've just mentioned, the one thing they do is they take breaks. If you have an axe that you're using, it is absolutely imperative that you take the time to sharpen the axe. You cannot use the axe 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You have to sharpen it. You have to give yourself a break. And so a productive person understands you can't just run all the time without taking a break. Now, one thing I have to say about busy people, they're not lazy. As a matter of fact, they will be some of the people in your sphere of influence who you believe, as well as others around them, that they are indeed the hardest workers that you know. Productive workers, those who are productive, are not lazy. They're not slackers. They work hard, but they work smart. In that, I mean, go back to focus. If you concentrated for 40 minutes without distractions, had the material that you needed at hand, pre-prepared, and you could just really focus and concentrate, turn off all of your media, make yourself unavailable for that time, you'd be amazed what you can get done in 30 to 60 minutes of concentrated work. Now, you'll have to work hard. You'll have to focus. So it's not that they work a lot more hours than everyone else. They just work smarter and they focus. Busy people have a great work ethic. They just someday miss the seminar on how to be productive. It's almost as if in certain cultures in our world today, when you ask someone how you were doing, almost their default is almost, oh, I'm so busy, as if that gives me worth, as if that means I'm a hard worker. There's a reason for me being here. There is a need for me because I just really work hard. Now let's talk about effectiveness and efficiency. The productive people always focus on being effective. It's not just enough to focus on how much time do I put in. Am I looking and appearing to myself and to others that I am really stretched and really busy? But efficiency is taking a big task and breaking it down into tiny steps and taking one step after another. It may look to you, and even to some that are around you, that in the early stages of working on a large project, when you're taking those small steps, that you're really not doing much. You're not really getting much accomplished. You're not reaching your goals. But in fact, that is the only way to get things done, and that is the only way to meet your goals. Effectiveness is, I need to continually be exploring what is the optimal way to get this task done, to get this project done. And sometimes I've discovered one of the most effective things I could do is pass it on to someone who is better equipped, better able than I am to get something done in that particular item. So sometimes the effectiveness is knowing what you can do and what you're not really equipped to do, and knowing who can come alongside and help you. Another thing that I want to say about busy people is busy people allow themselves to almost get drowned in the details. I was in a meeting this week with someone who is very detail-oriented and an excellent organized person. And I get this from those. I think I have some organization and some attention to detail, but I don't allow myself to get lost in it, because there comes a point I know what I'm capable of doing and what I'm not capable of doing, and I'm not going to allow myself to get drowned in the details when I have people around me who can help watch that and do that. You see, if you're going to be a productive person, yes, you have to keep your eye on both the micro and the macro. You have to know the details, but you can't drown in it. But when people are giving you all of the detail, as the leader, it is important for you to keep your eye on the line, on the goal, on the finish line, on the values, on what you have determined is your mission and what's most important. And if you get so lost in the details, you will soon forget and forfeit what your goal is and what you're trying to get accomplished. Busy people have a tendency to let other people dictate their schedule. They just sort of wait for that email, for the phone call, for the person to stop by and say, "Do you have a minute?" That is one of the greatest lies anyone has ever perpetrated on human beings. I have never had anyone, including myself, when I have said to someone, "Do you have a minute?" that I only took a minute, or they only took a minute. Busy people let everyone else set their direction, set their calendar. If you don't decide what you're going to do today, there'll be people who will be more than happy to tell you what to do. Now, I understand most of us are in the people business, and people aren't interruptions. They are a part of our work. But you have to have a plan on how you're going to get things done. And so productive people know where they're headed, know what their dreams, their aspirations, their goal, their mission is, and they set their direction. And another thing that will separate a productive person from a busy person is a productive person is continually evaluating their tools, themselves, their calendar, their habits. They are continually seeking ways to make themselves more effective. Another differentiation is that busy people have a tendency, I've already alluded to it, to say yes all of the time to everything. And as much as it's nice to do lots of things and to be helpful, we can't say yes to everything. You will run out of time. An effective, productive person has to learn that every yes and no has to be carefully evaluated, and then you have to come up with the determination, is this something I can reasonably do, and is this what I really need to do? Busy people have a tendency to jump on every trend. I don't care if it's philosophically, electronically, politically. Productive people are always looking at the pros and cons, not just of new things, but they're continually measuring what they're doing right now by, is this really effective what I'm doing, or do I need to change and go in some other direction? Busy people always have an excuse why they can't work on the most important things. A lot of times they give fanciful stories that are trying to cover up their own need to procrastinate. Busy people always say, I would have done that today, but this came up or that came up. Productive people understand there's only the same amount of time that's available to everyone who's alive today and ever has been alive or ever will be. Therefore, if it's something that's important and you've committed to, it is up to you, and a productive person understands this. I have to make and allow the time to get the things done that I need to get done. I think finally the last that I would use today is that busy people try to do everything themselves. They see others, even people who've been hired to come alongside and assist them, because they don't do it as well as they can do it. They end up taking that on and they get right back where they started from. Productive people are always on the lookout for new and better tools, new and better ways to do things, other people around them who can come alongside and assist and help them with things. And those are the major differences between a productive or a busy person. So the final question I ask today is, my leadership friend, are you productive? Are you getting things done? Or are you just merely a busy person, spinning your wheels, a lot of motion, but little to no progress? You've been listening to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom. Words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I trust today that this has been like a vitamin or a supplement for your mind and heart. And wherever you receive podcasts from, would you please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, leave a rating and a brief written review. Remember today, my leadership friend, wherever you are and whatever you're involved in, you are doing better than you think you are. You really, truly are. And until next time, this is Dr. Ron saying, have a great and blessed day.